Two kids abducted by a strange man in this Indonesian Netflix release. Let's check it out. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of a new Netflix movie called Monster that just came out and is on Netflix, available to watch now. This is an Indonesian film, by the way, which is actually a line of different Indonesian films that they've been doing on Netflix. So I'm trying to catch up. I actually just signed up for the service again to start watching some of these movies again. There's a ton of them that are coming out, and I really want to watch some of them because some of them are actually pretty damn good. This director, Rocco Prijanto, actually did Baya Ajib and Para Bentina Pengijkut Iblis. I'm sorry if I'm saying the name wrong. Not sure if that second one's on Netflix, but I'm pretty sure the first one is. Monster is a movie about a girl named Alana and this other boy named Rabin who were abducted by a man after school one day. They go to this location where the boy is chained up and the girl is left in the trunk. She somehow escapes and decides that, you know what? I'm not going to leave my boy behind. So she goes to get Rabin and finds out a slew of really bad things that might be happening to some kids that have been abducted there. It's a cat and mouse horror thriller kind of movie that might leave you on the edge of the seat, or maybe not. Now, for me personally, I've seen multitudes of these types of films. One movie that this reminded me of, which is a movie that was on Shudder, I believe, called The Boy Behind the Door, which I thought was fantastic. Didn't really supersede itself, just was solid filmmaking and did a really good job. Here, in this movie, I'm not so sure. Unfortunately, while it's decently shot and it looks nice, it really does not give you the suspense. Now, I'm not sure if that's because of the acting. It felt a little rushed. There's a lot of moments in the beginning of this film that there is literally no words spoken, which I admire when movies attempt this. It's a new style of filmmaking that I kind of like in a way because it relies solely on suspension. I've seen it in movies like Hush and recently on the Hulu original called No One Will Save You, which was quite the surprise. But this one is a little bit more grounded in being a little too generic. Unfortunately, because the little girl that plays this role in the movie of Alana does a pretty decent job. She's very commanding as a child actor. Like, she is really good at it. The beginning of the movie is sort of just kind of moving around the house without getting caught. There's a little bit of suspense to that, and just as I was getting into it, they switch it up into a different way. They introduce a couple of new characters, and things get a little wilder and wilder as it goes. But there are a lot of instances in this film that I had to sort of suspend my disbelief because some of it felt like a child would not do, but also it's kind of that old trope of horror, which is, oh my God, they fell down. Why would they fall down? How are they going to get out of this? There's something about this movie that, you know, I wanted to like, but I just couldn't get there. It's a super easy watch. Nothing extremely too graphic, by the way, either. So it's nothing off bounds as far as that. The subject matter is, of course, because you're getting kids who are getting picked up by some other guy who is taking them and to some undisclosed location. And there's a lot of crazy things that are within this location. But I don't know. There's something in this film that just feels a little inauthentic, and it doesn't really kind of go for it. It just felt like it didn't have any like oomph, any balls to it. It just didn't go there. And I didn't need it necessarily to be like overly disturbing and do something to the kids, but I just would have liked to have felt a little bit more concern for the kids. And this movie didn't really push that boundary so much. So it really kind of brings down the movie and the feel and the vibe and the suspense. Even some of the characters in it, one of them is kind of just like, meh, doesn't seem like he cares much at all. And he doesn't seem as threatening. What happens to some of these characters in this movie, you're just like, huh? It kind of bothered me a little bit, but not too much. It's just one of those films that could have done better. What would have set this movie apart is doing something completely different or throwing in a couple of twists in the movie that would have changed things up to something we haven't seen before. This is kind of like a movie that is kind of borrowing from other movies to make one that's not even as good as those other films. This one has lower marks because of that. I don't mind when other movies try to accomplish similar things, but if you're bringing nothing original to the table, it really asks, why did you do it in the first place? There are moments in the film that I did like, and I did get into it in a few spots, but it was just barely over average in that department. And everything else just sort of lacklustered its way through the entire plot. The end got even more ridiculous, almost like as if they were running out of ideas to get the kids into these situations to try to escape. And it kind of slows down around the third act or so. There really isn't an act structure on this one, but I just mean the last third of the film. It's about an hour and 20-minute film. It goes by relatively quick. So if you're just looking for like a quick watch, something to just do in the background, I wouldn't say this is a terrible film. I'm somewhere at like a 5.5. I just wish this movie would have done more, something different and original, and it would have grabbed my attention somewhere early on to change that, and like I would have been really invested in this movie. Yeah, can't say I recommend it necessarily, but if you're on Netflix and you can't figure out something to find, it's an easy watch for the most part. It goes by like that. I wish I would have liked this a little bit more, but it does have a few things going for it. It's just not for me. I do have other Indonesian films that I'm going to be talking about in the future. What do you think of this one? Did you watch it? Were you considering watching it because you saw it on your recently added list? Are you into Indonesian films? Have you given them a chance? Love to hear what your thoughts are about this film. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are there other films that are like this story that you could suggest in the comment section? Maybe that would help people find something good to watch other than my own suggestion. Would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and as always, long live the void.